I just finished a hour-long breathwork session and I barely breathed. I ended up just crying my eyes out for all of it. And it felt so right to just come and film this for you after literally crying my eyes out. At least I didn't have mascara on or been running down my face. I love these style videos that I have, these podcast style, where I'm sharing what I'm learning and moving through in my own ADHD journey. And these are unscripted. I don't want them to be scripted, but I want them to just flow. And what messages come through, I know will be the right ones that you need to hear. So let's actually back up to yesterday. Yesterday was one of those beautiful days, maybe you've had them, where you are feeling so not ADHD, like a neurotypical would. Feeling so grounded, so rooted, so focused, so like everything feels calm. Like yesterday I got all things done I wanted to with this beautiful sense of assurance, calm, groundedness. I was eating so mindfully. I was full when I was full. I could stop, no big deal. No binge eating, no mindless eating. And it just felt beautiful with so much intention. And I also know my patterns well. If I have a day like that, I know the next day is probably going to be more of a challenge because my nervous system was so regulated. Typically the next day, it's the opposite. Totally fine. I know these patterns. So understanding your own patterns is a big thing. But today, woke up feeling great, worked out as I do. And then after, I really just wanted to film this for you. I had my whole plan set out that I created yesterday when I was very grounded. But I felt this tightness in my entire body. Like, after the workout, it's like all my muscles tightened up. That's what it felt like. Like, I couldn't breathe. And no matter if I stood as I worked, sat at my computer, breathed, didn't breathe, took a few moments to come back to my breath. Whether I ate slow or drank coffee or didn't drink coffee, it didn't matter. I couldn't shake this feeling. And I knew I had this breathwork session scheduled. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get work done because I had a late start of the day. I just want to get work done. And again, I know these patterns. You maybe too, where you're trying to force work. Nothing gets done. You end up ruminating or hyper-focusing on the wrong thing. Or what I did, I was like, cool, I'll just do some CEO type work, like researching some things, widening my knowledge base, especially around YouTube. And I start to ruminate. I start to think of like, frick, I'm not doing good enough. What I'm doing is all wrong. I should be doing this. This is why my screw up. This is why it's not working. Why isn't it working? All of the things, which I know does not serve me. And you may have felt that too, where this ego takes over, the ADHD brain takes over. You're not, the negative thought spirals, right? You're not good enough. You're not doing enough. Everything you're doing is a lie. Everything you're doing isn't right. You second guess it all. That was my life, my adult life, all the time, my business life, all the time. And even though where I am now in my life, I've like dissipated my symptoms so much that I barely struggle with ADHD. I still have those negative thought spirals, and I know they're also not true. I also have a toolkit of knowing how to combat it. But even with all of that, even with all of my resources, it was still so hard today to do anything. Everything I did felt like a lie. It felt forced. It felt so hard. Like I could not bring the words together to film. I could not bring the thoughts together to even type you an email. It was so hard. So I want you to know that I feel like I'm going to start crying again. It's been an emotional day. If you feel like that, even though the last 1 day, 2 days, last 5 minutes were so blissful, I want you to know you're human. And what you feel in your body is your biggest indicator of your step forward. So I knew, even though I knew, I still ignored it. This tightness in my body wasn't because I just went to the gym. It was something that had to get released and felt. And to me, what it felt like this armor falling away, shedding away this armor so my light could shine through. Literally, that's how I felt when I let go of this tightness. Because I'm going to fast forward and then come back after doing this breath work and literally crying for an hour. And this message of let your armor fall away and let your light shine through. The tightness all fell away. And right now, there's only this pure clarity of recording this for you, but also all these other amazing videos I want to record for you with like the tactical steps and the tangibles of how you can take steps to natural steps, if that makes sense, to naturally decrease your ADHD symptoms, which are all coming for you, I promise. But that wouldn't have came through if I wouldn't have listened to what my body was telling me. And let it take center stage and let it be felt, let it be heard, let it just be. And I record this video as much for you as for me, as a reminder that when the brain doesn't want to work, when it feels so hard, you can't focus, the negative thought spirals. It's not about forcing it. It's not about beating yourself up. It's not about trying to think harder or use some supplement to your brain going. It's actually the opposite. It's tuning out of the brain and into the body. It always has. It always will be, because we always have the answers within us. It's just we've tuned them out for our entire life. And we've been so in our head. That was definitely my story. Until probably 3 years ago, I realized I have a body that has sensations and feelings and can be connected to. So even though I do this work as a living, it's still hard to feel what needs to be felt. And it's even more hard when society tells us that we need to be productive, that we need to be doing more, that we, have a work day and tasks to complete, purpose to fill. So, we don't have time to go take an hour to go cry. Maybe you don't even have maybe 5 minutes to go do that. Or you're so, going from task to task that to even have the space to take a moment to be like, what is my body saying? It's so hard. Again, even for me who, I have my own business and I do have that luxury, it's still really hard because the thoughts are saying, well, you didn't do anything else today. Like, you can't just go meditate for an hour or go cry for an hour or go for a walk, even though I know that's going to serve me so well. You have to get stuff done. This is a business. And there's a balance we need to find with that. But every single time I have eventually taken that break, whether it's later in the day or later in the week, to listen to what my body wants to tell me, I jump timelines. Things become clear so much faster. The focus comes with so much ease, so much, quote unquote, gets done without the force, without the second guessing, without the procrastinating. In the long run, I save so much time and struggle. It's just the remembering of it. Like I said, this is as much for you as it is for me. It's a remembrance that our body never lies. We always have and we always will have the answer within us. It's just uncovering it and letting it shine its light. And sometimes we still don't know the answer. Do I know the answer? No. But after that breathwork session of giving the time and space to come back to me, to who I am, not as a brain, but who I am at a soul core level, the clarity that did come was that I can let the armor down. I can shine my light. That I can be seen. That I can film this and so much more for you, and I know exactly what I'm going to be filming for you right after this. And that it feels easy. That I feel like I'm me again. An unmasked, authentic version. The unmasked, authentic version of myself. And even though I felt like that yesterday, everything was calm and easy. Literally, a night's sleep can change everything for the better, the worse. And that's a beautiful thing because we're human. And we get the luxury to feel all of these emotions. I told you these are like podcast style episodes where I just go on a bit of a ramp, a bit of a tangent without being scripted. So what I want you to pull from this, first of all, you're human. You're absolutely freaking so perfect as you are. Secondly, your brain will tell you lies and tricks, and the negative thought spirals will happen, and that's okay. Remember, night's sleep can do wonders, but if you wake up the next day also being like, oh man, the thought spirals won't end, come back to your body. It is like a coming home, a homecoming. It always is, even when we think we don't have time or space. And that can be as simple as just putting both your hands, on your body, on your skin, closing your eyes and taking deep breaths. Or doing that with some music, which I love. Doing a few just focused deep breaths. Maybe doing a whole breathwork session that's guided by a practitioner. Maybe it's EFT tapping. Maybe it's like a self-pleasure session. Beautiful way to come back to your body. Maybe it's jumping in a hot shower, grounding in nature, just putting your feet on the soil. Whatever brings you back to you even for that moment. Whatever brings you back to safety and calm. So you can feel what needs to be felt if it's there. I promise when you do these things, this is when the clarity comes. This is when the focus comes. This is when the symptoms start to dissipate, at least in the moment for you. And this is a big part of the practice I do for myself when I show clients, just folks such as you, along with many other natural solutions to dissipating ADHD symptoms. And I also want you to hear that I'm human just like you, and there's some days that are really hard, or periods of the day that are really hard. And it's easy to forget everything we know that grounds us and makes life feel easy. So even having a support system, watching these videos, connecting with myself, drop a comment, drop me an email. I love hearing from you. And maybe it's a spouse or partner, your kids or friends or virtual community like I had in the breathwork session. People that can hold space for us and remind us who the fuck we are. That we are powerful, powerful people, beings here to do amazing things and live a fulfilling life. Your ADHD doesn't make you defective. At all. Not at all. But rather, it's something that was exacerbated by life circumstances, a developmental delay in your brain, and that's okay. Because we're still whole beings. Like, we continue to come back to being whole. But I'll share, I do have more of my beliefs on ADHD, which I'll link below. You can watch that. I could talk to you forever. I freaking love these conversations. If you have any questions on my own journey to minimizing or dissipating rather my ADHD symptoms in a natural way, you can comment them below or send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions on this video or any comments, also would love to hear from you. You can drop them below. I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here. And if this resonates, like, subscribe. It helps me reach other folks just like yourself. And if it doesn't resonate, that's okay. I'm glad you're here to get information from other sources and to hear others' journeys. Because my journey, your journey, our journeys are not a lie. They're true to us. Okay, I'll see you next time.